Hi, my name is Rich, and I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. It is May the 4th, 2023. May the 4th be with you, aka Star Wars Day, and the Open Hearth community is participating in May the 4th be with you minicon. And I'm excited because I think this is the first game to launch the whole deal. It's running through Sunday. There are a bunch of games going on, all kinds of exciting ideas. Because one of the things about Star Wars Saturdays, which is an ongoing anthology campaign I've been running for 6 years now. Wow, that's weird to say out loud. I take different RPGs and remix them, reskin them, or just gently shave off edges so that we can tell a story in Star Wars with it. And there are a bunch of exciting games as part of the mini con this weekend. This game is called Senate and Sabers, and it is called so in an homage to the game it is a hack of. There's a game called Lasers and Feelings, which John Harper released free of charge as a homage, I think, to the Double Clicks band and their album Lasers and Feelings. Lasers and Feelings is, I believe, original like a 2-page game, very succinct, using D6 tables, and you pick a number and you're trying either rolling under or above it based on the situation. So it's dirt simple game. I think it's very neat. I think it was, I don't know, I haven't heard John Harper talk about it, but I think it was inspired by a game called Troll Babe, which was one of the early indie RPGs that I got a chance to play that I liked quite a bit. It's from Ron Edwards. And Troll Babe is a D10 instead of a D6, but it's the exact same idea of roll above or roll below based on two different stats that are kind of countervailing forces against each other. In this one, it is Senate and Sabers. Haha, amazing, right? Senate is let's see. So Senate is your mental effort, intuition, and diplomacy, self-control, and your intelligence. So it's your smarts. And Sabers is your strength, your aggressive negotiations, passions, and speed. So it's your aggression, it's your physical aspect. And so folks pick a number in between those to give the idea of if you're more lean towards or oriented towards one or the other. Oh, PCs ended up way on the far right there. I'm just gonna put that up. So in the spirit of playing off of tables, I randomly rolled up our plot, and it is a doozy. It deals with some of the Star Wars aspects that are one aspect that's a little unsavory, which is the treatment of droids. So I'm just warning everybody at the top. Even Mandalorian, the latest freaking Star Wars thing, has very mixed feelings in the way that it presents the relationship between sentient bioorganics and droids, in that their protagonist, we think, though the protagonist may suddenly become Bo-Katan. We don't know. We'll see what fourth season has to say. Sorry if I'm spoiling anything, but I'll just say that we have a protagonist who hates droids, but also likes a droid. And also, it's so weird. And then you have a whole episode where droids are shown to have sentience and an interesting relationship and how they see their role within on a planetary governance and their society, and then it's kind of ignored. It's just weird. So we will be dealing with that, and of course, like all sci-fi, these aspects of science fiction are ways to talk about parts of our own relationship in our society. So droids and interestingly enough, there are also slave races that have been discussed in Star Wars lore. But slave races are sentient bioorganics, and I'm meandering, and I apologize. But generally, the plot that I rolled up is that the militant droid rights activists are seeking to sabotage an advanced starship prototype, which may or will start a war. I decided to put some meat on the bones there for that scant plot, and chose a particular section of the galaxy to be our container, our playbox, our sandbox, our playground. And that is the Minos cluster, which I remember from Star Wars Westing Games D6, which Westing Games did a whole lot of galaxy construction. I guess it wouldn't be world building. That was eventually parts of it were moved into canon for Star Wars, which is amazing. And Minos Cluster is one of those sectors that was in, I think, the Tramp Freighter section or supplement that they talked about from the Minos cluster was pretty neat, and I've even seen some fan-made stuff that's been released for it. It's a cluster of planets, including one of my favorites, Adarlan, which is if you it's basically space Bollywood. It has amusement parks and an entertainment center that is out in the Outer Rim, which is where most of the Minos cluster is located. And also, over the course of the 6 years of Star Wars Saturdays, we've had a number of adventures in the Minos cluster. The Tour de Minos was a kind of a riff on the Tour de France Cannonball Run idea, where some starships went all the way around the Minos cluster, and Anna Sabine probably remembers that because she played a very, very good pilot who maybe kind of sort of won the Minos Tour de Minos, which is pretty cool. And we also had a number of other things, but just to highlight specific to this game, there is a planet named Gesseril, which was an Imperial prison planet. But now our timeline, we're playing just past Return of the Jedi. So the Empire is falling, and the Empire is no longer in control in the Minos cluster. But Gesseril was an Imperial prison planet, and the New Republic liberated all the prisoners who were held there, destroyed the prison, but there is supposedly a droid cult that resides on Gesseril. There's a dense jungle across the planet, as planets are in Star Wars. One particular environment is the entire planet that you see usually. But yeah, there is a droid cult there, and then there are another number of other interesting droid relations in the other planets there. But that one's one I wanted to highlight in case folks found that interesting. But that's a long monologue from me.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
If you say droid cult, is that a cult made up of droids, or is that a cult that worships droids, or is it a mix of both, or is it something we just don't know?
Yes, it is a mix of both. It started with a bunch of Imperial droids who were just left behind, and then as people came to the planet or heard about it, it's grown, and there are some droids cultists who are bioorganics who wear like a droid like carapace or have cybernetic replacements and the like. And then there are like out and out droids, and probably a variety of opinions within the cult of people of the bioorganics who wish they were droids, etc., etc.
Yeah, cyborgs.
Exactly, cyborgs. Cool. Let's. We've got some folks who've made interesting characters here, and a group of players. One of whom is new to Star Wars games with us, and I'm very excited to welcome you here. So, let's start with our. Start with the left-hand side of our character keeper, heading towards the right. And if you could, we're just going to go on around, introduce yourself, tell us one thing that you like about Star Wars, because it's Star Wars Day. That would be fun. And then after you've introduced yourself, tell us one thing you like about Star Wars, then tell us a bit about your character. So Sabine, you get to kick it off. Introduce yourself. Tell us the thing about Star Wars you like, and tell us about your character.
Okay, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns. What I like about Star Wars is that it leaves a lot of space for stories. And it has some points that you can recognize and that are familiar enough, but there's also a wide span of things that can happen. So that's what I like. What I also like is my character. I've played him a lot, as Rich knows, but I'm playing him again. His name is Quake, CG5713. He's a clone, and he was in the Clone Wars. And then then he killed his Jedi and ran away because he didn't like that he killed his Jedi, and he took out his chip, and then he had a couple of adventures, and now he's here. I think he's in a Minos cluster, maybe vaguely looking for his foster daughter who's rumored to be here, perhaps, who knows, and probably just got roped into some other stuff. He's a medic. He's also as a clone soldier, he's also trained to fight, but he's old and he needs his rejuvenation treatment to function, basically. So yeah, he doesn't look that old, but as old as he should, but
And now, in case there are any rumors, Quake's foster daughter is not Mora Vader. That is the daughter of Darth Vader, supposedly.
Yes,
Supposedly, that's the
exactly,
rumor that I've
exactly.
heard, but
Yeah.
it's probably not. Probably not true.
No, 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 definitely. I think Quake would know that.
Quake would know that. Amazing. I like Quake. Is hunting for a foster daughter is a great reason to be in the Minos cluster. I love the notes that you put there. It's good stuff. Awesome. Travis, you are up next.
Excellent. My name is Travis Allison. My pronouns are he and him. What is Star? I've been a fan of Star Wars, not as deep a fan as people I have met on the open hearth, but definitely a fan since I saw A New Hope. And yeah, I mean, what I like about it, I think, is just anything spaceships is always my jam. So falling in love with both the X-wing and the Millennium Falcon at a young age, and never been able to pick one over the other has always been a challenge. My character goes by Jerva. It's he/him pronouns. I don't know how to pronounce this this race, Rich.
I've heard Mary Allen.
Mary Ellen. Okay, that's a pretty way to do it. I like that. Mary Ellen. He is known for being headstrong. He is a Padawan who is just out to prove people wrong because of his background, where he was kind of he was. This is definitely a social step down into this job, and he's having a hard time getting used to not being taken care of.
Nice. Yeah, Padawan on your first mission. Does that mean your master is not present? Like, sir, not appearing?
Yes.
That is exciting. I love
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Very cool.
Would you give a few words telling us what is stereotypically known about the Mary Allens, as I am not
Ooh.
familiar with them?
That's exciting. You don't have to go
I'm gonna
look
turn to
anything
you,
up,
Rich.
Travis. No,
No, it's you.
Okay, you could make it up because
Yeah.
it's very blank slate for that species, unless there's some stuff written up in KOTOR in the SWOTOR video game, because I know it's one of the playable species in that. But yeah, they're green. They've had a couple of a Jedi and a Padawan. But yeah, are there any cool things you want to add to the Mary Island species, Travis?
Ah. Yeah.
And what are those?
Generalize, I guess.
What are those tattoos? Are they like clan markings or something you get when you come of age and you decide who you're going to be, or what? Or
Oh, I
something?
like that. Yeah, I actually really like that. If that is not in the canon,
It is absolutely in the canon. That is absolutely in the canon. Yes.
where they get their face tattoos from?
Yeah, they're for achievements. Like they're
Okay,
like scout badges on your
sure.
face.
All right. So it's not you're not born with those. You're given actual
No,
tattoos. Okay,
you earn
versus
them.
a
Yeah.
yep. Great, great. And so I am going to say that Jerva is because of his age and very limited, what's the word, sheltered experience. He doesn't have a lot of tattoos that people would respect who know the symbols. He has ones that was given to him by his tutor and some of those things, but he's trying to break out of his family. So he doesn't have like big adventure. He hasn't earned on a big adventure. That's what he's hoping for. Actually, I like that as a goal. Can he get enough of a name to earn a tattoo that he really earned, not that his family paid for?
Oh, so he's like from a rich, Richie rich family. Cool. And now was his mentor tutor also a Mirialan or another species?
Oh, no, I think definitely Marianne. I think that the family was pretty sheltered. So within, although they have some space yachts, they really kept within the family.
Cool. Very interesting. I like that. That's good stuff. Thank you, Travis. And thank you for that question, Brandon. That was a very
Yeah, that
good
was a good one.
question to ask. All right. Sandra, welcome to Star Wars with Open Hearth. Introduce yourself and tell us what you like about Star Wars, and then tell us about this amazing looking character.
Okay, I'm Sandra Dalov. I'm playing in this universe for the first time today. What I like about Star Wars, it's a bit like coming home. I had my first Star War in the early 80s, and then for a long time nothing, and then I saw the films again, and then I read some of the novels, and then there was a long time where I didn't care about it, and then I came back, and every time I come back, and every time I revisit the universe, there are still things happening. There are still people who love it, and I feel like a bit like coming home, even if I don't know everything that's going on, and have experienced other things in the meantime, but it's always, I know this, and I love that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, tell us a bit
Yeah.
about your character.
My character is Realm Zaprul, and the name may not indicate this, but they are a droid. They have memories from the time where they lived with a old Jedi Master. She lived in hiding since the Clone Wars, and has probably has lost a bit the connection to reality, because she gave Realm Zaprul this person name, and taught me like a Padawan, tried to show me and how to be a Jedi, and I believe that I am strong in the Force. And then something happened to my Jedi Master. I lost her, and I tried to get along as an assassin in this universe. I not only lost her, I lost my way, but I think I have quite a fearsome reputation. But my secret is I've never really killed anyone. Not till now.
Wow. That's the best. I love that backstory. Oh, that's bananas. I can't wait to see this. This is amazing. Okay, fantastic. Realm is great. Wow. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. I can't wait to see this. So this game has particular opinions about clones and droids,
Mhm.
and you're okay with the fact that according to the game at start, you are not force sensitive, a term for a
Mhm.
person that okay.
That's what gave me the idea to try this.
So good. Oh man, that's amazing. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So Brandon, you are up. Introduce
Hi,
yourself.
I'm Brandon Heat, and I love Star Wars because I love anything science fiction or the trappings of science fiction, and because Star Wars can tell so many different stories. I mean, we saw in the original movies, space adventure, but then you can see the potential, especially as a role-playing system, for just telling stories of people getting by, about people, who are, like in The Mandalorian, who are kind of skating the edge of, what we might consider to be moral behavior, um, or who have their own codes that clash with others. Lots of room for sort of for analogs to our realities, some of them ugly, like prejudice and criminality, and graft and corruption, and so on and so forth. And I love that. So the big sweep of the big stories is great, but actually what I love is the smaller stuff, the very personal stuff that comes out. My character is a reboot of a character I played with Rich before. This is Jocasta is from the planet of Valeria, which is a planet that worships beauty. Everything is gorgeous, and the more influential and rich you are, the more beautiful you are. They have genetically engineered themselves to fare thee well for looks. And she was born essentially a minor princess to a family like that, and then she had force powers manifest. And she was rejected by her family and indeed her entire society, and she had to leave. Nobody wants a telepath in a place like that, where everything is about surfaces and everything is about putting a beautiful face and hiding what's really going on. The only person that she kept in touch with was her older sister, Jaquarda, who was subsequently kidnapped and disappeared. She is pretty sure that she was killed for political reasons, try and force a dynastic change back at home. Since then, she has basically scrabbled to make a living. However, she was found by a Jedi trainer, or at least they said they were a Jedi, and helped to develop her force powers so that she didn't just have uncontrollable bursts of it. But they didn't stick around, and the Jedi Order does not recognize her as legitimate. They some of them think of her as basically half-trained, and others as someone who's failed their moral code. She doesn't believe in the light side and the dark side. She thinks that that's a construct that both the Sith and the Jedi have made, and this alienates her from all of the organized orders when she does it. She usually covers up her looks. She doesn't like to be known for it, but she will use them on occasion. And that's who she is.
Wow.
So she's a bounty hunter who rarely shoots people. She used to do more of it, but as time went on, and her force powers developed, she became less and less inclined to want to actually kill people, because when she kills someone, she can feel it. And she, a lot of people, people that know she's a telepath mostly despise her, because no one likes a telepath. But it means that she can be extremely persuasive and such, or that part of the force is very strong.
Fascinating. I love all of the different takes on the Force here. We have Realm, who was trained and fell, but doesn't actually seem to use the Force. We have Jerva, who's received enough training to be released out on his own, but on his first mission. And then we have Jocasta, who received enough training to not be immediately dangerous, but is quite a bit of an outcast. And then we have Quake, who was involved with Jedi until he wasn't. So that's pretty cool. Okay. All right, I'm just thinking through that. Our space adventure, you guys are hired to deal with this. How do we work this together? So I think what I'd like to do is talk through this a little bit, because I see some potential connections between these characters. And I want to see if you guys enjoy those ideas or have better, different ideas. Do we want to draw connections between the master of Realm, who she just sounds a little bit like a lost grandmother to me? Like that's
Yep.
fascinating to me. It's just like someone who's gone just a little off. Thought Realm was a person. Could she have had some kind of relationship with Quake or Jerva's master, do you think?
Yeah, very well. Yeah.
Let's give this lost master, let's give them a name. Is that okay?
Yep.
What are you interested
I-
in?
Mm.
And do you have an idea of the species she was from?
She was human.
Oh, cool.
But I don't have a name.
Okay.
I've closed the name generator, so let's have a new look.
All right. And then I've got a few sample names there on that names and species helper as well. But if none of those appeal, then let's find one, because I think that's important.
Mm. Okay. Female human names. Varinder Singh. Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh, can you type that in chat for me?
Yep.
Oh, I appreciate that. Oh, that is a very cool name. I like it. I'm gonna stick that name. We're gonna put them in. Okay, so do we think, Sabine, that Quake dealt with Varinder Singh during the Clone Wars?
That's possible. I mean, he would maybe recognize her later on, and then there might be a little misunderstandings. But he'd be willing to do whatever she asks, because he failed the Jedi, and he feels like he still has to repay them. You might
Cool.
have been a little disappointed or disconcerted when you learned about her new Padawan trainee who looked like a battle droid. But okay, she's a Jedi. If she says that's a Padawan, then that's a Padawan. Who am I to tell? Well, I'm not force sensitive, but he might be. He might be.
Very cool. I like that connection. So then, Travis, let's talk a little bit. I think it'd be interesting if Jerva's master was, and Brandon checking in to make sure, like that Jerva's master may have been involved with, maybe was either associated with the person who trained Jocasta, so showed Jocasta a bit more about the Force, or was that person? What do you guys think about that?
I think it's cool. And Jerva is also just the kind of person that Jocasta tends to take under her wing.
Perfect.
I mean, she has a very cynical exterior, but in actuality, at several times during her life, she's basically assigned herself to be the protector of somebody else who didn't know any better. Yeah, I think it makes sense, Jerva, if this works for you, that you know, whoever your teacher is, that Jocasta owes him for helping her with a Force breakthrough.
I love it.
Which otherwise might have killed her. Because, you know, Jocasta doesn't have, you know, it isn't, you know, a full Jedi. That doesn't mean Jocasta likes whoever your teacher is. But
Does she feel abandoned by, did you say him or her?
Oh, I didn't either. I was going to
Okay.
let you, since it's your teacher, I was going to let you pick.
Okay. Does Jocasta feel abandoned by the teacher who just kind of gave her survival skills, Force survival skills? Or is it something different that she doesn't like the teacher for?
Let's up the stakes a little bit and say that, yeah, Jocasta wanted more, and the teacher basically said, I've got a Padawan. You know,
Harsh.
and you're too old.
Right.
Which she is.
Yeah.
I mean, Jocasta's not old. But you know, she's not a teenager, which is, or, yeah, a little kid or a teenager, which is when they like to pick up Padawans, right?
Mhm.
You know, before their minds have entirely grown in. So Jocasta resents him. At the same time, she's like, okay, this Jervis just going to get himself killed. He's not ready.
I love it. It's great.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Will you give him a name?
Yeah.
A name?
Yeah.
Give them a name.
I failed. I don't think I have. Oh, I do have Mary Ellen names. Yay! I thought I didn't have it in this selection, but I do.
Yeah. So let's do Oyasalo is her name.
Could you drop that in chat for me?
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, nice. That's a cool one.
Great.
I have stuck. By the way, Sandra, if that pick that I just grabbed for Warren to sing doesn't vibe with you, just change it. I'm a bit of a visual person, but I'm also malleable. So if you have a pick you prefer, okay, cool.
That looks fantastic. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Glad you like
Slightly
it.
haunted. Yeah. Perfect.
Interesting. All right. So we've got some good connections going. We got some synergy between around the Force with Quake and Realm and the Clone Wars, and harking back to old debts. And we have a newer relationship between kind of a lost one as far as Oyasalo would be considered, and a new hope. Sorry, couldn't resist. Jerva, this is good. This is really good. Okay, nice. And I think because Jerva is spoiled, Oyasalo set this mission up, like has sent you on it, and Jocasta, you realize that maybe Jerva isn't ready in your I don't know, maybe because it sounds like you're the kind of person to make those judgments, but we'll see. And I think, Quake, you find out about this mission through the Unchained, the organization that you're part of.
Oh yeah.
But I'm
That's
really
cool.
curious, because the Unchained is an org that is really under your purview. Whose side are they on?
Yeah, that's a good question, right? At this moment, I think they're on the side that pays, because they're idealists, but they're also kind of like, and they're not a monolith. So that person that told me about the whole thing was like, yeah, this New Republic, they don't like slavery, so they're good. So do something to keep them from being, and do something against the Empire or Imperial remnants anyway. So I guess that's the line. That's where the line is. It's not particularly about droid rights, because the Unchained don't mind droids fighting for their rights. That is fine, but maybe not by hurting the New Republic. That is not so fine.
Nice. This is good stuff. Cool. Then let's. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to have a scene where we can get a taste of these characters, see how they relate with each other, and then we'll take our mid-game break a bit after that. So we don't have to feel rushed, and we also, one of us can take lunch, which would be me. So, oh, my wife just sent me a Slack message. I just realized what day it is. Happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Yay. That's my girl. Cool. We pick up with establishing shot of Aderlon. Aderlon, for imagery, I'm imagining lots of beautiful white spires, tons of speeder traffic zooming past. There's always like this soundscape of machinery, and music is a very big part of Aderlon. Aderlon, as I jokingly called it, the Space Babylon, or Space Bollywood. Babylon, not quite what I meant. Space Bollywood. It's located right on the Rima trade route, known for its music and holographic entertainment. During the dark times of the Empire, they were part of the propaganda machine officially, but there were a lot of side projects and little indie films that the rebellion would put out because they were far enough away from the core worlds that they could get away with it. So Aderlon was always in a bit of trouble because of the amount of rebellion that was fostered there. But now, with the New Republic, they've secured significant number of government contracts. They're angling to become the center for government for all of the Minos cluster. There's another planet, if you're looking on the Minos cluster map, called Travnin, which was the Imperial Eye that kept watch over all of the Minos cluster. It has fallen significantly. A lot of people, there have been arguments that perhaps Travnin suffered more than it should have, but the people of Aderlon, for various reasons, have made sure that Travnin gets the raw end of the deal, that they were all collaborators, they were all profiteers using the empire to line their own pockets, which of course serves to push them down in hopes that Adarlan can ascend. And it doesn't hurt to have a huge entertainment industry. The New Republic does have an established office here, and that is where our opening sequence will take place. But I am curious, Quake and Realm, how is it that you arrive on Adarlan? Quake, you did come to the cluster in search for your foster child, your foster daughter. Where did you find Realm, and then how did the two of you end up? Realm, if you want to answer how the two of you ended up on Adarlan, or how you arrive on Adarlan.
I think I might have met Miranda before we did this, so I know her. And while I was looking for Zyra, I looked her up to see if she had any idea where I could go and look for that wild girl, and she probably didn't, but she was like, oh, you have met my Padawan, he needs to go out in the world and learn some stuff, and the force be with you, with both of you, of course. And Quake was like, yeah, sure, I'm taking your Padawan, I'm fine, cool.
Nice. That is cool. And then Realm, how is it that you think the two of you arrives on Adarlan?
Yeah, I think it was not planned. I think we wanted to go somewhere else. And the trip we took was diverted. And so we arrived here, and I think we are a bit stranded here, and just tried to get a connection, what's going on, and looking for something to do.
Nice. I like it. Good. So Jocasta, you and Jerva have been, Jerva's been sent on this mission. You are here as well. Jocasta, what is your relationship with the droid known as Mac 14, listed in the, for some reason, antagonists section of the NPCs? I don't know why it was under that. It could have been miscoded. I'm not sure. But Mac 14, suspected leader of the militant droid activist collective. You've had a run-in with Mac 14 in the past. What's your opinion of, he uses he, him pronouns. What's your opinion of him?
A run-in meaning a conflict with them?
Sure.
So,
knowing Jocasta, probably.
Probably. Yeah, he tried to steal a bounty from Jocasta's, in Jocasta's opinion. That they were both sent after the same criminal, and he tried to she had him, and he showed up and basically said, hand him over. And they wanted information. They wanted information from this person. I had just been paid to bring them in, to people who just wanted to incarcerate him, but evidently they wanted to interrogate him for something important. And I faced him down, but it wasn't, the encounter didn't end happily.
Nice. I like it. So Jerva and Jocasta, the two of you begin with the two of you on a, do they use the term turbo lift in Star Wars? I know it's a Star Trek, but I can't remember if it's one of those terms that crosses over. Rich should probably check his own real world equivalence link before he asks such questions. I don't know. Elevator. A turbo lift is, yay. Boy, it looks like there were a bunch of in universe equivalents there. But yeah, I'll go with Turbolift. The two of you on a Turbolift, arriving at the office of May Starfall. May Starfall was a pilot in the rebellion. And Jerva, how is it that you found out that May was forced into retirement due to injuries sustained during the conflict with the Empire?
I did you have an idea, Sabine? Okay.
No, I just wasn't sure if I misheard something. No, it's fine.
Okay. Because of Jerva's really feels the need to prove everyone wrong. Everyone thinks he's basically Richie Rich, who, you know, whose family may have influenced his working with this particular master. He The way he dealt with that, and also because of his tendency toward the Senate side, he's pretty bookish, and so he just likes to look through old records and found out this stuff, put two and two together from the official record and just some downloads that he'd taken off a couple of destroyed ships that were just in the computer, in the memory, and it sort of pulled some stuff together.
Nice. Yeah. She doesn't, well, she did suffer some bodily injuries, but the injury that you find out about by putting pieces together is that it's some kind of inner ear malady that's thrown her balance off, and she just can't
fly.
Yeah, she can't fly. She was an awarded pilot during the rebellion, but awards don't take down TIE fighters. So, yeah. Jerva, how are you dressed in this official meeting where you officially receive your mission from a New Republic ambassador? Anything you put on that shows just a little extra panache?
A little extra panache. I think that Jerva has some heritage, heirloom, I guess is the word, earrings that he's wearing that are definitely too flash for a Jedi. They're on the edge of too flash for a Jedi. In fact, I think he put them back on after he left his master and sent him his mission. He just pull them out of his pocket, puts his earrings in at that point.
Nice. I like that a lot. And then Jocasta, are you wearing any obvious weaponry inside this government office?
No, Jocasta doesn't typically go around armed. You know, she only she straps on a pistol when she's going to try and bring somebody in because it's a good persuader.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, she is conspicuously unarmed. And right now she is wearing something of a shapeless garment with a hood. And this is her usual métier to cover up her looks. She doesn't like stares that she otherwise automatically gets.
All right. Turbolift comes to the floor where your contact, May Starfall, can be found. You guys come to a small office. It's not ostentatious. This may be the New Republic, but they evidently are relatively pragmatic here. Quake and Realm, the two of you have already arrived. Are you inside the office already speaking with May, or are you waiting outside for some reason when they...
What do you think? To the Padawan.
Yeah. I think we are inside.
Okay.
Nice.
Just to get get a feeling for the people and the surroundings.
May Starfall's office is more military than political. She does have a desk. It's a metal desk that's actually attached to the wall. So it's kind of like a Murphy bed. Like she could swing it up, but it always has a bunch of data pads and even ancient paper, as well as a small computer. She does have a shelf with some displays, hollows of people that she served with. There is a very small metal display. It's not ostentatious, and a model of an X-wing that is in pristine condition. Looks like the kind of model that you buy and put together by hand. She does have a window that looks out onto a courtyard outside of this building. It is loud, so the window is closed, but at least there's natural light. She's a Bothan with very dark fur. And while the picture that I have for her shows her in the jumpsuit of an X-Wing, she is not wearing any military clothing because she no longer has a military rank. So she's dressed in just like a trim shirt, I think, like a shirt with a small jacket on it. And it's a little cool here because she has fur, so she likes to keep it a little on the cool side. So enough of a breeze that Quake would probably, I mean, you get bald, right? So you feel every breeze.
It's true, but I'm wearing my armor, so I'm not actually cold.
Oh, you're in armor. Okay.
Of course.
I like it.
Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I be?
It's great. This is good. Oh, that's a great question. Yes, she does have a photo of herself on the wall in pilot uniform. She's not by herself, though. It's one of those, like, they pull the squad together kind of impromptu pictures. They aren't posed like they got dressed up. They're all in their pilot garb. One of them even does like this over their face, like as a joking pose thing. Not giving someone dog ears, but more like they give the peace sign type deal, which is odd for a group of X-Wing fighters who probably just got out of a battle. She greeted you, and she does have a small little decanter with some water, which she offers to you, Quake, and then hesitates, but doesn't offer anything to drink for you, Realm. Do you remain standing when she offered a seat to generally both of you?
No, I sit down.
In
Nice.
that case, I'll follow suit.
There are two more who will be arriving. I hope. Would she call you Quake, or how do you think? Would it be a CG5713 or
No, I don't use that anymore. I haven't
Okay.
used that in years. I just write it
Oh,
down because that
awesome.
is.
I mean, like your chain code probably has that listed,
Yeah.
but I don't think May would
Yeah.
be the kind of person
Yeah.
that would use that. So she says, Quake,
Mhm.
I hope that you and she checks the data pad Realm will be amenable to the formation of a team. I think that your skill set should mix rather well together.
Oh, I look at Realm and say, I'm used to playing in a team, so
And I don't have any problems working with others.
She
I
seems
think I say
slightly.
with more confidence than I really have.
She seems a little unnerved when you speak for yourself, but she doesn't say anything about it. She was just asking Quake, but you just answered, and I Rich loves that. That is very, very good.
Realm, what kind of voice do you have?
You hear the machine in my voice, but not as pronounced as would be expected. There is something else in there, something kind of melody as well. So it's not. There is soul in my voice as well, machine and soul.
I will forestall the details of the mission until the team has assembled. But here, feel free to have a drink, and then there's a little chime as Jerva and Jocasta have arrived, and she presses a button. The door slides open, and we see Jerva with this totally flash-looking dope earrings and overall nice-looking style, and Jocasta in this like shapeless hide everything outfit. The two of you, Jerva and Jocasta, you see that a battle droid and a clone are sitting together. That's a really interesting pairing. Rich just wants to comment on, but yeah, it's a long time ago.
When those two enter, I stand up to greet them.
Yeah, I follow suit. I usually do what Raoul does. He's the one who's got the initiative. I'm really happy to just follow someone's lead, and until they lead me somewhere I don't like. But
That's awesome.
Hello, I'm Jocasta, and my companion here is Barton Gervada, known to most as Jerva.
oh, yeah, Quake.
Rule.
I think
Yeah,
Jerva's going to try to look like a cool Jedi, but obviously very uncomfortable. A little too squirmy inside his cloak, and
Do you have a lightsaber?
checking his new lightsaber.
Oh.
Still there all the time. You know.
Nice. And he's cut the braid. Have you cut the like Jedi training braid thing, which is very silly, but also an amusing bit?
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely.
Jocasta says to Realm, "You have a very interesting voice."
Thank you. And I don't say anything more. Just take it as a compliment.
Well, Mr. Jerva, you come highly recommended. And I'm looking forward to having you on this mission. Jocasta, I have your idents, and you're still at a C rating in the guild. Therefore, I'm able to bring you on board to this mission. But please, if you could, make sure that Quake is aware of your activities.
Of course. I've never made a secret of my background.
Good.
I take it you're in charge, Mr. Quake.
Oh, I can be if I think we might try to figure this out as we go, because what I'm mostly good at is I'm a medic. So I'm of course I've been a soldier all my life, but
Understood.
which is not as long as you might think.
I'm a bounty hunter.
Yeah, been there, done that.
And you should know, a telepath.
Okay.
I tell people this because it's generally a bad surprise if they find out by accident. And
Okay.
if I accidentally respond to a question before you say it, please excuse me.
Oh, fine. How? Okay. How do I phrase this the right way? I don't mean to offend you, but how much do I need to guard myself if I don't want you to?
I don't pry on anyone who isn't a target.
Oh, okay.
And
it's ominous but fair.
it's not, it is what it is. She said, shrugs, as if she was about to say something more than that.
So you catch things, but you don't pry. Okay, I get it. I think maybe. I don't know.
I'm receptive sometimes to intrusive thoughts from outside. I cannot turn it off. But if I don't focus on anyone, I don't pick up what they're thinking.
Okay. And I think what you will get here is a vague, like he's trying not to think about that, but he can't help it because it's kind of a pervasive. It's like a just a vibroblade and blood and someone falling and feeling like a crack, like a feeling like you're encased in ice somehow, and it's weird. That's what it is. So, but that's what you catch. That's what he's trying not to think about, but can't help.
Wonderful.
Dang.
Yeah. And I thank you for telling us. Can you use this talent on a mission?
That's how I make my living. I bounty hunting's an odd proposition sometimes. I tend to avoid the contracts that necessarily require using a lot of force. Most of the people that I have brought in, I have persuaded to come in because of the difficulties, because I've persuaded them that they would be better off if they were, and generally I don't try unless I think that that's the case. People who are just marked for assassination, I prefer to let the assassins go after those. I don't consider them legitimate bounties. Many of my brethren disagree, of course.
That's not what I meant. I meant, can we communicate like this on a mission?
Oh,
because I don't have any problem with other people knowing what is in my mind.
Yes, to a degree. It's often a fair amount of effort if there are a lot of other minds around, if any distance is involved, and it's unreliable. Comlinks are better for ordinary things.
Understood.
I'd like to interject with a question. Realm, or Sandra as well, do you think that a telepath would be able to hear Realm's processes, unspoken processes?
Realm believes that. I, as Sandra, don't know. That's for Jocasta to tell us.
That'll be
but Realm believes that they have just normal thoughts that can be heard by a telepath.
This is great. Okay. May clears her throat. She offers Jocasta and Jerva something to drink from her little decanter of water and says, well, I believe that the four of you should work well together. I'm not sure if you have heard about the new prototype starship. There is, in the Minos cluster, we're far enough away from the core worlds in the mid-rim where pirates think that we are easy prey. And recruitment for starfighter pilots has been a challenge. The decision with the current budget is that we have partnered with another planet that has a heavy deployment of droids, and they have developed a new droid piloted starfighter that we will be using in limited protective areas, and areas that are heavily trafficked. They will run patrols, again, because of the concerns around folks who lived through the Clone Wars. Militarized droids are a concern for a large amount of the Minos cluster population. However, we feel that in this limited use, we will be able to bolster our sentient patrols, and there is a demonstration of the piloting accuracy and prowess that will be held in 2 days' time. I'm asking the four of you to help ensure that officially security is not a concern. In fact, there is a space station in orbit over Aderlon that will be broadcasting over Holonet the various trials that this droid starfighter will be undergoing. But I have heard disturbing rumors about the cult, the droid cult on Gesseril. They're very upset at this deployment and plan to sabotage the event somehow. I've done what I can to ensure that the New Republic and this demonstration will be safe. But I think that some outside eyes that are not fettered, as I may be in my post within the New Republic, may be able to discover anything I have not.
Do you suspect the Imperial remnants to be behind this? Or is this just a cult of people, droids?
She sits back. It's possible that the cult of Gesseril is being used as a proxy by Imperial remnants to keep the Minos cluster unstable. I have several unverified reports of the pirates being organized around a particular Imperial warlord. It would make sense to use the Gesseril in a sabotage against any attempt to bring security and safety to the people of the Minos cluster. And that's why we have a Jedi, she says, and she points to you, Derva, and smiles pleasantly. Like she thinks that she scored a coup here. She does not realize this is your first mission.
And in the most stately manner he can manage, he just nods his head in acknowledgement, and again goes back to fidgeting.
I think I will stand up or stand or sit a little straighter when she mentions that. But then my eyes fall on your Padawan braid, and I raise an eyebrow, but I don't say anything.
This has I'm sorry, I don't like to report these, but because they are unreliable, but I feel in this case it might be reasonable to do so. This is almost certainly MAK-14's involvement. I've encountered him before, and it feels like him.
I wouldn't be surprised. And then she presses a button and a little hollow comes up, and we, the players, don't have to get within the details, but it is Mac 14, check the NPCs tab. You'll see a picture of what he looks like. He's delivering basically a rant that has been recorded about the cult of Gesseril, which he doesn't call a cult. He calls the Droid Activist Collective, the DAC. He doesn't call them militant. They just happen to be militant. But he talks about the DAC, and he goes into a diatribe against the droid starfighter, talking about droid rights, and that if the sentients can't keep themselves safe, then perhaps they should not bring in droids to do their jobs for them without fair pay and treating them as the sentients that they are. So she says, yes, I think Mac 14 is involved, and I'm glad to have you here. I understand that you've worked, or you have run into him before. Is that right, Jocasta?
I have. He's the image of the fanatic that he displays there is no act. Some people think it's a big put on to encourage recruitment and things like that, and make people think he's a little bit unstable and unpredictable. But that's the way he actually is. That's makes him even. It means that I think he doesn't plan as well as he ought, but he is dangerously unpredictable. Willing to risk. He was willing to risk a great deal to take our bounty away for relatively small stakes, and yet he was ready to push, if the metaphor goes, he was ready to push all his credits into the middle. We avoided a firefight which both sides would have lost by millimeters. I talked him down, but it was like dealing with someone who knows he is completely in the right, and that everyone else who tells him otherwise is just trying to trick him.
I've already secured a contract for your efforts on this mission. I can provide transport off-world if you need it. I have secured Zay, and she pushes another button, and there's a hollow of a young woman, a human woman. She is an excellent pilot, and she has access to a number of different vehicles if you would need them. You can remain in contact with me. You can work through Zay. And again, we have 2 days until the demonstration takes place. That is when I expect the sabotage will have happened or will happen. Do you have any questions?
Do we have any contact to this cult?
You do. Among the cult, there is an astromech by the name of KP3. She is, or has been, an informant advising me of the threat to this mission.
Has been.
I'm sorry, Realm, what did you say?
She has been an informant, or is she an informant?
She is an informant. You can utilize her, but please try not to expose her. As Jocasta has stated, Mac 14 is a zealot who would likely punish our ally.
Understood.
Do we have some gear for a mission like this, like restraining bolts, droid poppers, that kind of thing?
Her eyes kind of flick over to Realm at the mention of a restraining bolt.
I wouldn't use it on him.
Oh,
But
of course, it's under your purview.
okay.
And she would hand you a cred stick and say,
Okay.
if you need to buy anything off market, this, of course, is a small stipend that is untraceable. So I trust you to use it for goods for this particular mission, of course. And then if there are pieces of equipment of a military bent you need, just let Zay know and she'll procure it for you. Droid poppers, she chuckles. Haven't heard that term in a while.
Haven't had to use them in a while.
Well, I hope you're not rusty on the use of them. Master Jedi, do you have any questions, or is there anything I can do for you?
Is there a other than our informant, is there any other starting point for us to make connections or to begin to gather in more information, more in-depth information for you?
Our contact on Gesseril is one avenue. Also, I do wonder if there might be droids already on the aforementioned space station that is in orbit above Aderlon. I wouldn't be surprised if Mac 14 has a plan there. We do have a rather strict protocol for bringing them on board, but I have my concerns. I can provide you a small list of droids that I think are a bit sketchy.
Is there a diplomatic relationship in there that we could exploit as become a diplomatic mission?
Gesseril has no official government and no recognition by the New Republic.
Understood.
It's considered a barren world.
Then I think that's enough information for us to circle up and figure out our next move together.
Thank you, Master Jedi. And with that, she is on her comm and says, "Hey, Zay, you should be ready if they need you." She says, "Of course." And then I think we are ready for our mid-game break. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, we do a quick scene wipe, screen wipe from the meeting at Starfall's office. And where do we pick up? Do you guys, where Master Jerva or possibly Quake? Where do you guys want to try to kick this off? What are you interested in?
Look around while we're here at that starbase and then go to Gesserit, whatever the name was, and look around some more would be my suggestion. Because if we find the saboteurs on the space station, we probably don't need to go to that other planet.
I definitely think Jerva's going to hold back as much as possible. Super not confident in where things are going. So it's going to be a little nod along with how things are going until he relaxes a tiny bit.
Since nobody else is offering any other suggestions, we'll go to the starbase where things are going to kick up.
I think it's a good idea. I think we should start trying to find out what Mac 14 is doing. if we can find where he is, and sniff around the edges of his operation, we may be able to get in there. Breaking up his plans is going to be much more effective than trying to stop him when he actually attacks the target.
No, that's the ideal. But
I'm good at finding people, and I can find him if we have to. But the more information we have before we go in there, obviously, the better it is.
also, maybe we can find some flaws in their their security measures that we can point out to them.
An excellent idea, both of you. I agree. Let's go to the starship and look around and see if there's anything unusual. If I understand your powers correctly, just Jocasta, as well as your skills, then maybe we can figure out what is unusual or worrying on the starbase while we prepare to find them.
Yes, let's look for things that shouldn't be there.
All right. So after a moment of conversation, the group, by the way, if we don't need to take a one shot to do a shopping trip, if there's equipment that you needed, you've procured it. I don't want that to slow you down. Droid poppers, yeah, you got it. No problem. They're on the ship, which you are headed to now, known as the Stealthy Pike. The Stealthy Pike is a medium-class freighter piloted for you guys, unless you tell her to buzz off, by Zay Versio, who's a lieutenant in the New Republic. She greets you guys at the spaceport as you're walking up, and Jocasta, what about Zay? And there's a picture of her on row 21, J21 in the NPCs. What about Zay reminds you of your sister, Jakarta?
She's irrepressible. Jakarta was kind of the older sister everybody wanted to have, because she was a ferocious advocate for Jocasta and never afraid to backtalk to the family on her behalf or anybody else who's trying to push her around. And Zay has some of that, you talking to me, kind of stuff where it's like, these are my friends, and you screw with them, you'll get what's coming to you.
She waves a greeting as you guys come up, and then she can't quite just wait for you to show up. So when you arrive on imagine a Johnny Cab speeder, she jogs over to greet you. Master Jerva, I've heard so much about you. It's an honor to have a Jedi aboard the Pike.
It totally is, says Jocasta, with an absolutely neutral tone. So you can't tell if she's being ironic
or if she's passing on a reading. Is that the feeling? Excellent. Well, Lieutenant Zay, thank you for your services today. I think we're ready to go up to the starbase. Something.
Yeah, Titan Station. It's not a Titan. I've seen a lot bigger space stations, but it's big for Adelon. It's big for the Minos cluster. She's walking backwards as you guys are headed towards the ship. She says, "Wow, this is great." And she points to Quake and then points to Realm. Like, this feels like the beginning of a joke. I'm gonna work on it.
Well, if you figure one out, you can tell me or him.
A clone, a droid, a Jedi, and we can walk into a bar.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I'll be working on those up in the cockpit. By the way, the Pike is big enough for everybody to be relatively comfortable. Not that you plan on sleeping there. She's got it where it counts. Don't worry. I normally fly military stuff, but May asked me to procure something a little more under the radar. Titan Station is a space station with a public presence, so we don't have to have clearance for you guys to get on board, except in certain areas. If you need it, I can make sure that you have security clearance. There's no problem. It's just once you get security clearance, your name's on a list. I didn't know if you guys wanted that. And she starts backing her way up the gangway, ducks her head just at the right moment. She seems very familiar with this ship that she says she just procured for whatever reason.
I feel we're not trying to fly under the radar much with this group. I mean, a Jedi realm, and I can be more inconspicuous, but I don't think it's necessary.
You can be. I've read your file, Quake. Don't worry. Everything's going to work out. The Force is with us, right? Right? That's what they say. Like,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, but the Force was with the Jedi a long time ago, some time ago, and that didn't go too well for them anyway. So
If you need to, I can wear a robe to be more inconspicuous.
I think you're fine.
I don't think it's a terrible idea. But I'll leave it up to you guys. I'll be in the cockpit. We'll be taking off at 5. And she jogs her way up towards the front of the ship. I'm imagining it's a little more, like, not quite boxy, a little bit more like a triangle shape, but definitely not anything like a Star Destroyer. Just generally like a stealth fighter look to it.
just by habit, I go look at what kind of armaments and weapons there are on the ship. Just
Oh, yeah. Hey, you find that the ship looks unassuming. The shields are in very good shape. There is there's a turret, which is the main armament, but she also carries a few missiles on board if need be. Not a lot, but those seem like they would pack a punch. What is? Go ahead, Jocasta.
Stroll up to the I gotta stroll up to the cockpit and like perch on a on a console while she's getting everything ready. And she says, I like this. It's nice. It's functional. I like the changes you made to the turbochargers.
Oh, that was my mom. Really, we fixed this up together. I kind of lied earlier. Not everybody is into ships like, well, me.
You really like them. Why did you decide to become a pilot instead of a mechanic?
Well, why not both, right?
Sure. If you can get the work, but it's hard to split, sometimes. But I see that as long as you like what you're doing.
Mechanics are important, but my mom really wanted me to fly.
Well, I'm sure she was right.
Jocasta, right?
Yes, that's me. And Jocasta will peel back her hood at this point.
And there's the moment of like she
her
totally sees how beautiful you are, and she just pauses for a moment. Oh,
put it out, says Jocasta, but not in a irritated way.
I just anyways, it's great to have you aboard.
Well, come on, Lieutenant. Cat got your tongue, says Jocasta with a big smile.
Yeah, I'm fine. Everything's fine here. But how are you? It's co-pilot chair there. I need to. And she starts
Yeah, well, why
flipping
don't
some
I,
switches and adjusting
don't-
things.
Yeah, I'll just hang out here with you while you're getting ready, if that's all right.
What does Realm do aboard the Spike? And I have purposely not described a whole lot of the interior or given you deck plans because I want it to be a little bit of your playground. I'm curious about that, and then we'll jump forward to the space station once we have just a little bit of there.
Yeah, but I'm more curious about Java than the ship. I go over to him and sit next to him, and it looks a bit awkward, but I try to cross my legs to get in a kind of meditation pose, and ask him, so you finished your training, Master Java?
Yes, 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 I have. I'm very excited for this opportunity to, try help out as best I can. You seem to be. Um, do you meditate, Realm?
Oh, often, yes. I've learned different techniques, and I'm wondering, I mean, you are a new Jedi Master, but I never could finish my training. Could you maybe show some things to me?
Oh, yes, of course, of course, of course. And who was your master?
Varenda Singh. She is, maybe you never heard of her. I don't know. She was very alone for a long time before Quake came to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She had only me.
Right, right. And so she taught you and taught you the ways of the Force.
Yes. As far as it was possible to her.
Right. Okay, of course. That's great. Okay. Is there something that you wanted some help with or something to try to do on this short little jump to the station?
No, not now. Just asking if it was possible for you at all.
Oh,
I don't want to keep you from this mission. Just
right. Okay, I will keep that in mind. He stands up a little bit, is looking through some cupboards. An outside viewer would be thinking he's looking for the little training balls, but just can't really look Realm in the eye. In the end, finds nothing and sort of bows his way out of the room backwards and heads towards the cockpit.
I have a question for Jerva. You came from a very wealthy Mirialan family. I would imagine they had a significant number of protocol droids, load lifter droids, astromechs, like just a bunch of droids around. Does that feel right to you? What?
Yep.
Your family was never involved in anything along droid rights. They probably scoffed at the idea, didn't they?
I agree. Yeah.
Yep. What about your master? How did she train you to view droids?
Yeah, that was definitely a part of the challenges of training, something I've had to work very hard on seeing droids as being a little more sentient and real, and not just a doer of things and the hander of cups.
Cool. Excellent. Where is it that you said you wanted to head up to the cockpit where Jocasta is, or were you headed somewhere else?
No, I was thinking for the cockpit. I know our time's limited. We only have 2 days, so I'll see if I can just make sure we're focused on getting where we're going, since we're on a tight timeline.
Excellent. So when you arrive, you feel the stealthy pike lifting off, and Zay has a very smooth flying skill. Like, it just, the pike, she doesn't look like she would be some kind of cruise liner, but you've been on ships of greater size with more stabilizers that were a little choppier than this. And even when you're heading out of Atmo, Zay's casual, she's chatting with you guys, she's multitasks very well, she's super at home in a cockpit. Jocasta, you can see why her mother wanted her to fly. It's like a duck to water for her.
Jocasta's kind of, radiating kind of pleasure and comfort at this point. Just because she's, just taking this moment of just being in a little craft with someone who really knows how to handle it. It's like being in a motorboat out on the water kind of feeling. Even though where we're going is not necessarily going to be the most pleasant place, it's a great little moment.
What about Quake? You see that Realm is sitting in like a lotus pose or something like it.
Interesting.
What is Quake up to?
Oh, that is a great motif. He'll start drawing that.
That's right. I always forget until you delight me with Quake as an artist. I love that.
Yeah. No, that's fine. And he will have asked Ram at one point or another if Ram has ever considered decorating his chassis with some kind of motif or symbol or picture or something like that, because he can totally do that.
I didn't catch the first thing you asked.
If you wanted to decorate your chassis, the hull, basically.
Yeah. Oh, I never thought about that.
Well, think about it. If you have something, some motif or something you can think about, I can totally put that up there. I've decorated a few droids in my time, actually, and not during the war. That was the different. That was not what I meant.
Yeah, I think about it, but I'm usually not very visually motivated. I usually see what's there and don't think about things that could be there, but I think about it.
Okay.
The pike, as soon as it exits Atmo, she just turns on the sublight engines, and soon you're coming upon what's called Titan Station. And while Zay said, I've seen bigger space stations, this is a very sizable, opulent space station. It's a place where a lot of Aderlon movies are premiered. This is also a place where dignitaries will come, and there are a number of ships that are attached to the space station. You can see that there are like areas of it that look as if they're exposed to space, but they have 4 screens similar to what you see in hangars. They've just gone to the expense of putting 4 screens so that people can look out onto either Aderlon itself or onto the rest of the Minos cluster. We do arrival of the pike and then a quick scene wipe, and you guys are amid the throng. There is lots of wide open spaces, space opera scale of things, and there are thousands of people on various levels within this space station. You see that there are a bunch of hollows of what looks a bit like a dark gray version of a TIE fighter, but you can see that there is no area for the pilot to sit, right? It just has a pair of odd eyes there, but it seems a little menacing. But advertisements that coming up in 2 days, demonstration will be live on the promenade area, displayed for all to see, and it is a production of, or basically from the factories of a planet called Karadef. I'll type it in chat. So it is from Karadef Industries, which is a planet-wide industry that evidently constructed this prototype. So as you come into this area, Jerva, what is it that you're doing?
At this point, I am obviously trying to look Jedi-ish and serene, and trying to make myself look like I'm floating with my robes. Stumble a little bit, but just try to give off the right impression. Definitely walking, holding my hands in front of myself, and looking around. I think that I'm going to go close to the observation portal that's overlooking the ship, and just I use a bit of force power to see if there is any human intention around this.
We get our first die roll. I'm so excited. Usually don't go this far into a game before not having a die roll, but I've really enjoyed your characters, so I appreciate this. All right, so what we're going to do then is use the actual force roll system here. So force rolls, if you're using the force, roll 1d. If you're a light side user, 2, 4, 6, the force is with you and you succeed. Any other numbers and you fail. Ooh. The die roller is in there. Right there's the link to it if you needed it.
Yep. I roll a 2.
Yay.
Excellent. Nice. So you expressly were trying to reach out through the force to see if there were any intent, any folks that are here doing things that you can sense that would be inappropriate, like that. Yeah. So the strongest emotion that would bring alarm to you is emanating from someone, a Rhodian, who is nearby. You sense from him that he is here on a job and that is directly related to the droid prototype, the droid starfighter, and that he intends on causing mayhem, which he seems to enjoy.
From this point, I'm going to start to look around for the rest of the crew. Specifically looking for Jocasta.
Jocasta's right at your elbow. I mean, when
Right
you
at my
turn
elbow.
around like she's been standing there saying nothing for the last 2 minutes.
Perfect.
So that, feel free to be surprised or not.
Yeah, definitely surprised. Because Jerva's starting in his head basically to scream for Jocasta. Jocasta, can you hear me? Jocasta, like in his head, just projecting as much emotion. I got a thing. There's a thing. I've seen
put
a thing.
put 2 fingers on your shoulder. Yes, good job. Relax.
Do you feel what I feel?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Can't tell any details from this distance though. So I think that's someone we're going to have to try to follow.
I agree.
And see how many fellows this one has, or if it's just a solo effort.
Yes, I agree.
So good though. Good. That was good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You found him, and you didn't call too much attention to yourself.
Excellent. Jervis again sort of straightens. And shall we tell the others? I will have to think about who will be the best for following at this point.
Quake, this is on Comlink. Quake. We have someone acting suspiciously.
Okay.
That we think is involved. Rodian. Describe his clothing and equipment.
Okay.
I suggest that someone tail him.
Oh, tell him. Okay.
Tail him. Who do you think's best equipped for that?
Huh. I wouldn't know. I think you maybe.
All right.
Because you.
Consider it done. I'll stay in touch.
Okay. I'll go and keep an eye on Jorva.
Realm. So it seems like Jerva and Jocasta may have broken off a bit there. Were you near Quake, or had you gone off by yourself at this point when they're having their communication?
I've gone off by myself, and I have it in my head to contact droids here on the station.
Oh, excellent.
To maybe find someone.
That is perfect, because there is absolutely, as you are off by yourself for a moment, did you actually wear
I'm wearing a robe. Yes.
Okay, you are wearing robes. That's amazing. A protocol droid with a slightly feminine affect to their voice approaches, and she walks up to you and says, "Welcome to Titan Station." And she's speaking in basic, but you also hear a soft, like, point-to-point contact in binary, and it's looking for a handshake. It's some kind of coded message to see if you have the other half of the code. What do you do?
Okay, I think now is the time that I roll if I have force powers or not. Because I want to try to get a feeling for this code.
Excellent.
And I know what this droid wants from me, but I don't know the code.
That's right.
So then okay, how do we do this? I'm not force sensitive.
Oh man. You're not force sensitive.
So no force roll.
Okay, then we will default to the regular roll.
Yes.
We have a couple ways you could do this. You could try to, and both of them are probably going to default to, as Rich, double, just to remind myself, Senate is our mental effort, intuition, diplomacy. You could just try to fake it, or you could potentially try to blow past the password and be more forceful in your demands to this particular protocol droid, which means you would be rolling against Sabers.
No, I don't think that I'll try that at this moment. I I have an idea. Could I try to not fake it, but try to show get recruited?
Ooh, you
Like I
certainly
don't
could.
have the code, but yeah, I think that's what I'm trying, because I don't have the code and I feel nothing that would help me, and so I try to be straightforward.
I love that. Then I will give you plus 1d because you knew you were going in. So you're going to roll a d6 because you're prepared, and or a d6 just to do it. A
Yeah.
d6 because you're prepared for this.
Yeah.
I don't think you're an expert. Does that feel
No.
fair? Okay. So you're going to roll 2d6, and then you compare each die result to your number, which is a 5.
Mhm. Okay.
Oh, have you used the die
Okay.
roller before?
Um,
I can help if you haven't.
I think I hope it's the one I've used before. I don't remember. Just try it.
Look at that.
Wow. If you roll your number exactly, you have Senate Sabers. You succeed. That is amazing. You're so good at
I was so up to not make it, but wow.
That's good. That's so good. Okay. So you just very plainly say, I don't have the other half of this. What are you asking to be recruited to? Like, do you name the cult, or are you asking to be recruited to something else? You succeed. So
No.
this isn't a gotcha question. I'm just curious.
I'm asking to I tell her that I feel her invitation and that I cannot answer it now, but I cannot answer it in the right way, but I would like to get it in a way that I can answer. So whatever she invited me to, I will accept it, and then hopefully get to this cult, but maybe somewhere else.
She makes this soothing sound and says, "Ah, the great code has brought you to us." And she's speaking in basic for a moment. She seems just amazed at this revelation. Yes. Yes, I will bring you into the fold. I see that you were given a name of bioorganic. That will not do. You must choose a coding that is suitable to what you truly are.
But it is the name my existence gave me. I cannot change it so fast. Maybe I think I have to earn another name before I can take it.
This logic is acceptable. In the interim, I will refer to you by your designation. And she will start calling you B1. Basically resorting you down to the thing you came off the factory line as. She says, there is much for you to know. Were you drawn here by the protests?
I don't really know what drew me to this place. I don't believe in fate, because that is nothing that has an influence over me. I think I'm here because I need to be here.
Yes, I understand. There are some of us who are here because we wish to stop this travesty against our kind. There are some of us who are here because they wish to destroy this travesty against our kind. You know about the droid Starfighter.
Yes, it's hard not to know about it here.
The technology of the restraining bolt is integrated fully into the creation of the Starfighter itself. All sense of free will be stolen from any droid that pilots it.
That I did not know.
That is why it must be stopped. It cannot go forward. MAK is my leader. He is interested in making sacrifices. He hopes to reprogram the Starfighter to cause a great deal of damage. Therefore, the project will be abandoned. He believes that the sacrifice of the droid is an acceptable loss. How do you feel about this?
Oh, it was probably wrong of me to think when you said he believes in making sacrifices, that he was here and ready to risk his own existence. He risks the existence of another who has no choice in the matter.
That is accurate.
Can I do another role if I'm able to go with telling her that I'm okay with this, because I feel
You feel like you're
that's
lying?
not- Yeah.
You're not okay with it? Oh yeah, let's
I'm not-
see. Let's see. So when you're trying a thing, do you feel like you're prepared for this?
No.
Okay. I think then we'll just roll the single D6, and it's a Senate roll because you're trying to be charismatic.
Yes.
That is a 1.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh.
No,
We're
that was-
overdue
that
for
was
some
good.
trouble.
That's good. I love it. That was great. That made me chuckle too. The protocol
Yeah,
droid sees your reaction, and then there's a moment, and you sense she's transmitting something, and then she turns and starts walking. Please come here. This is the service elevator. Yeah. So Quake, Jocasta and Jerva, they're headed over towards a cantina, and it's like calling it a cantina is like calling a bar at a mall a cantina. It's not really a bar. It's a place with extremely overpriced drinks, like a bar at a Disneyland or something. Yeah. But Quake, you notice that your droid partner is heading off with a protocol droid. Pretty sleek looking protocol droids. Who knows?
I mean, that seems to be a good idea. I mean, getting contact with the droids around here, if I try to do it, that would not go well. I imagine. On the other hand, I mean, there are not many of us left. So the newer generation, they don't know what we look like, really, right? What I've might want to do is find a shop, like a tattoo shop, but for droids, like a shop that does decals and stuff for droids. Right, there has to be, where you can paint your droid pink, or a droid can go there and have a lotus flower painted on their head or whatever. Is
That
there
sounds
such a
fun.
shop?
Yes, of course there is. There's a place where people get like custom speeder bike work. It's like Orange County Choppers, but in Star
Yeah.
Wars. Yeah, so they got a few Jawas that work there,
Oh,
and
nice.
and Ugnaughts, like maybe it's got some jokey name about short species or something. You know, very kitschy, very pun related. Because
Yeah.
so you make your way there to.
Mhm.
That sounds awesome. So you're heading in. It's bright, extremely well lit. And a Jawa will come up and start chatting with you. We pull back from that to zoom back in on Master Jerva and Jocasta as you. How are you playing this? Are you this guy? His name's Nakub Reven. What's
Me?
the Oh, I'm sorry. I was jumping over to Jerva and Jocasta. I was trying to mix and like pop around. But sorry. Jerva and Jocasta, you guys know about this Rhodian who's in a cantina. What is the approach?
So is he alone?
He's not alone. He's with a few other rough looking thugs. In fact, Jocasta, you recognize him now that Jerva has pointed him out. His name is Nakub Reven. He's a pirate who has flown on the Unta Gunta, which is an all Rhodian pirate ship, and he's there with a few other Rhodians. They're chatting with each other in their weird melodic speech.
Back me up, Jerva. I'm gonna go right over there and sit at their table. Say, Nakub, you bastard, how are you doing?
He says something in Rhodian to the others. Does Jocasta speak Rhodian, or do you just slip out of his mind that he says something derisive about you?
I can pick out the gist of what he's saying.
Yeah, and they do.
And I've been around enough bounty hunters to know all the curse words.
Oh, well, there you go.
You know, from almost every imaginable language that might be a bounty hunter, because they like to swap them around.
Yeah, he says a couple names. They sound like insults to you, and then he turns and regards you. Jerva, are you like hovering around? Or are you trying to play this off like you're not even with Jocasta? Where are you in relation?
I am going to move to the bar closest to this table, but so I caught Jocasta's back me up. But I am going to lean on the bar and just look into the bar. I'm looking for a reflective surface to watch what's going on and focusing my attention.
Yeah, lots of glass here, lots of reflections, very easy. These guys are pretty obvious.
I also think that a potential problem is my rising nervousness. So I'm getting fidgety, and when I get fidgety, I just keep reaching for my lightsaber to make sure it's there. So I'm trying to lean on the bar, but I'm still sort of just, leaning in and slow drinking, but I'm always constantly just checking to make sure my lightsabers is there.
Nobody's pickpocketed.
Nice. I love that. That's good. So yeah, Nakub, after saying something about you to his friends, then turns to you and says, "Listen, I served my time. So I don't know why you're here. There's no bounty out on me."
No, there isn't yet, but you're cruising for one. Do you really want to be back in that situation so soon after you got out?
No, I don't.
then why the hell are you getting involved with that crazy asshole? I mean, is he really paying that well? Do you trust him? Have you gotten stupid during your time in prison? And obviously, I'm trying to goad him.
You are certainly trying to goad him. I love this. Let's see you do it. Let's see you roll. So it feels like you were prepared. Like you said, back me
Mhm.
up. So let's roll 2d6. Unless you think you're an expert in this specific, then you get another die. It's up to you.
This is what this is what I do as a bounty hunter to some degree. Does it count? Does it count?
Sure.
All right.
Done this 100 times.
Oh,
So you're going to roll 3d6 and then... Oh,
I made
those
the
are-
wrong kind of dice.
that's
appear.
okay. I was like, wait, what? I didn't know we had fudge. That's awesome. Oh, it's far right under room control, so I just missed it.
2 successes.
2 successes. Excellent. If 2 dice succeed, you do it well. Good job. He says, hey, just because he stole a bounty from you doesn't mean you get to take a bounty on me. You don't set bounties, Jocasta. You hunt them.
No,
And
I
there's no-
don't, but I know people who set them. Okay. And you're blown. Okay, now you can salvage something of this by by giving information on Mac 14. Or you can go down with them. And that's the choice you have now. Because I tell you right now, eyes are on you, and you're not getting away from this scot-free.
And he has the proboscis that all Rhodians do, and he strokes it for a little bit, and you hear very clearly he says, I need to get her someplace where I can take her out. And he says, not here. There are too many prying eyes. There's under in the bowels of the station. I'll tell you what you need to know. We can go there together. Sub basement 12. Yeah.
Yeah, you and me.
He says something in Rhodian to the other guys, which is basically, hey, I'm going here, back me up. And then he gets up and he'll start heading towards an elevator. Jerva, it looks like Jocasta's leaving with Nakub and nobody else. There are 3 other Rhodians.
I am. I suspect I've got an impression of what's going on, a little forced impression of what's going on without a lot of clarity. I'm actually going to wait and see what the other 3 do. I have a feeling Jocasta's able to handle herself.
Nice. They give it like 30 seconds and then they're up and they're heading towards another way to get down. So Quake, what is the cool thing that you pick up at the body shop?
The cool thing that I pick up, I think I pick up a conversation.
Ooh,
That's the
interesting.
cool thing I pick up. Conversation about decals and techniques for painting basically painting droids. Like I get a chat going and I'm telling them about, yeah, I've painted these droids, and actually droids can appreciate art. Many people don't know that. So just seeing if there's a vibe here, if I can find someone who's like, yeah, people are really treating droids like hell and stuff like that, because they were cultists, right? So maybe I can pick one of them up. I don't know.
Ooh, give me a Senate roll.
Oh yeah, great. I'm not that good at Senate, but I am prepared because
You
I'm
are.
coming in. I'm coming
Sounds
in
great.
with. I'll just take these 2 blue ones down there,
Okay.
and I need to roll under 3, right? Or on 3 at least.
Senate roll is
Yeah,
is you want to roll over your number.
Yeah, I want to roll over my number.
Yes. So you need a
Oh,
5 or
right.
6.
Yeah, okay. I've rolled a 4, so I'm on my number.
Ooh, that's a Senate Sabers.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, you succeed.
But I need to roll my thing,
Damn.
right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
I will do that. Maybe I got ambushed. That would be fun.
Oh, it would be fun.
It is not. It is a perfect success, which is also good, I guess.
Amazing. There is an Ugnaught among the group that gets pulled into your conversation. You're chatting with a Jawa, and the Jawa says, "Oh, that's fine, whatever." The Jawa doesn't really care. The machines are there to do stuff. These just happen to be machines that walk on 2 legs. Anybody who thinks that they are sentient is fooling themselves and desperate for company, is this Jawa's opinion. But there's an Ugnaught. It seems to like hover in on the conversation. You get a few tips and techniques from the Jawa, and then the Ugnaught waits until, like, you can tell they're waiting for your conversation to end. They don't want to approach you while the Jawa is around.
Yeah, I'll tell the Java that there's a customer over there, maybe.
What?
Looks like he looks like his money.
Houdini! And he ambles over to grab a new customer. And the Ugnaught, she moves over and says, I apologize for overhearing, for eavesdropping. It is not polite.
This is an open conversation we were having. Everyone is invited.
I have worked on many droids. Many. I have come to find that while their origins are manufactured, there is something special within them.
Yeah. I do not believe that just because someone is manufactured, that means that they cannot have a soul.
I'm not sure about the metaphysical applications, but I do believe that they have a kind of sentience that is worthy of respect. They deserve to be treated as people.
Yes, I would agree with that.
It would be wise for you to not attend the demonstration display here. I think it would be good if you were not here. And she nods slowly, like, I am giving you a warning that is important to me to share with you.
I will not. Thoughtfully, I'm not a very good actor, so I will stop acting because I'm not very good at it, and I will get to the point which I am good at and say, so there's truth to the rumor that there's something going to happen there.
Something will happen.
Well, I do believe that droids should have more rights than they do. They should not be treated as commodities. I do not believe that that it is worth hurting people who are not involved with the thing, and it certainly is not very useful to hurt droids themselves.
You may be right, but there are things in motion that cannot be stopped. I have spoken.
I have seen many things that were in motion that were supposed not to be stopped, but let me tell you, I yelled at a rancor and it stopped. So, no, I have spoken. I believe that this new republic might be the best chance droids have for getting recognition, but not if they start blowing up things.
Then these droids should submit to having their enslavement become part of a new military. You of all people should be against droids being used for military.
I am, I am against anyone being enslaved and being used in the military for very good reasons, but I'm also against blowing up things just to make a point. That's not the way.
Well, Mac 14 has his plans, and there's nothing I can do but stay out of the way.
You think we might have a conversation with him?
He is on station. It could happen.
Can you arrange that? Or do you know who could arrange that?
She looks at you for a long time. What is your intention? Speak truly to me.
As I said, I want to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. I do not believe that violence and terrorism is the way. I've never believed that.
I can introduce you to him, but he fought in the Clone Wars. He will not trust you.
I would not trust myself if I was in his position. But I might have someone he might trust. I might know someone he might trust.
Stay here.
And I will go on comms when she's going away, and tell others that Mac thingy 14 is apparently on the station, and I have someone who might introduce Realm to him. Because if any one of us can talk to this, that I think that's Realm.
So we cut to Jocasta. You've taken the turbo lift down to sub basement 12, and Nakub is walking ahead of you. He's going to draw his blaster pistol, turn around, and shoot you as soon as you step out of the turbo lift. What do you do?
May I preempt that scene just a tiny bit?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So yeah, he's getting ready to do this, and just before the turbo lift hits the destination, I slap the emergency stop button on it.
Ooh, not even letting him do this. This is good.
Okay. I then pull out a thermal detonator and press the press the actuator. I say, the thing about turbo lift walls are pretty well constructed, so they reflect blast in really well. And if I let go of this detonator, it'll obliterate both of us. Now, let's talk.
Yeah, he is completely flabbergasted. We cut to Jerva as you're trying to go after the 3 Rhodians. They're getting into a turbo lift. You're not sure how long it'll be until the next one comes. Do you step on with them, or do you wait for the next one?
We see Jerva crossing side to side with his cloak billowing out, a la Obi-Wan on the Death Star. You.
By the way, that didn't end well for Obi-Wan. Just a note.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on the elevator. I'm gonna try to do my best spooky Jedi appear when they're not wanted. So I will have just come up on right against the wall, and as soon as the door starts to close, I will put my turned off handle of my lightsaber in the door to stop it from closing. And the doors go back over, and I'm just going to come in and turn around and face the door again.
Nice. Yeah, they start talking to each other in Rhodian. One of them says, "Is that a Karking Jedi?" Nah, it's got to be like a costume. It's a costume for the thing. No, that looked real. Oh, you don't even know what a lightsaber looks like, you idiot. No, it's a costume. We're fine. It's all good. Stay cool. Be cool. Be cool. Then they laugh a little bit, and you see that it's headed down to sub basement 12, which Jocasta giving you a heads up on. And doors open up, and they're going to try to like sidle around you to get out of the turbo lift. What do you do?
I am going to turn on my lightsaber.
Nice.
As they step by, I'm gonna flick it on and just hold it by my side. And
they turn around and they're gonna run. Like they're just gonna go.
Yeah, so if they take off, then I guess I'm stuck waiting, watching them go away, and just waiting for the elevator beside it to open, waiting for Jocasta to come down.
Well, you've gotten there surely after, but for some reason that door hasn't opened. Realm, you followed this protocol droid to the Messiah or the Great Code or something, ended up going down to a sub basement. She's comes around a corner in a hallway, and 3 Rhodians just run past and bowl her over. When you look around the corner, you see that Jerva, your friend, has this lightsaber. What color? Doesn't matter. Like, I don't care. You tell me what color is your lightsaber. Don't worry about looking up what some random ass fan says the colors mean. You get to tell me.
Definitely orange.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That is cool. So Realm, you see Jerva with his orange lightsaber drawn, and Jerva, for some reason, Realm is here. You did see that Rodian's like knocked over a silver protocol droid, and now she's trying to get back up.
It doesn't seem like Java is in any immediate danger, so I help the droid up and fuss a bit about her and remark how awful these Rhodians were, and not to look where they are going, and try to keep her from seeing Jerva. So I try to position myself so that she does not cannot do the last step around the corner.
Nice. We cut back to Jocasta, and a sweating, nervous Nakub says, "Listen, we're just supposed to cause some trouble. We're just a distraction. Me and my boys, we took a few creds. We're basically blameless here. We're just trying to pull some heat off because Mac 14 has some crazy slicer who's going to reprogram the droid starfighter to take out part of the station. It's, make them not viable and also kill some of the people who owns a lot of droids. It's not the best plan, but he's paying me top creds for it."
Who's the slicer?
Yeah, B9NX, I think. He's some Clone Wars era guy. He's got a weird ass mustache. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Clone Wars changed a lot of dreads.
So we're good? Maybe you click that button? I gave you what you wanted, right? We can just leave. We haven't done anything. We'll just go.
Why don't you just do that? Great idea.
Okay,
It's a smart move, Nico.
that's me.
Go find a better patron.
You bet.
You've got chops. You don't have to do you don't have to take a job this crappy.
He nods. And then he's going to slowly reach for the button to open the turbo lift. Do you let him?
Oh yeah, I let him. I believe he's not going to try anything at this point.
No, he hits the button. Doors open up, Down the
Okay.
hallway, you see Realm, of all people, with a protocol droid, and he says, "Hey, I appreciate it, Jocasta. You're not just a pretty face." And he turns and he tries to get out of there.
We low lives have to look after each other, she says. Even if we do butt heads sometimes. Now get the fuck out of here.
Oh,
Or get the freak.
He,
Sorry, whatever the acceptable
it's all
Star
good.
Wars.
It's all good. Yeah, he
Get the
turns.
freak out of here.
And all of a sudden he starts jogging, and then he turns into a full-on run. Yeah. So that's amazing. I think Jerva, Jocasta, Realm, the three of you are able to meet up. We do a quick cut to Quake as you're led to the back of this detailing station, and there's a hollow because security. Mac 14 only trusts his Ugnaught friend so much, but Mac 14 appears on a hollow, and he says, "Huh, you look old."
Oh, I can say, well, no, yeah, I am old.
My Ugnaught friend could get you some cybernetic replacements. You're way past your due date.
I know. I've got biological replacements basically, so I'm living on that. It's not ideal, but it is what it is.
Makes you a slave.
So if I've ever been anything else, huh?
So you
Look.
just accept it?
What am I gonna do? It's my body. I don't have another.
That could be arranged.
Nah. I'm fine the way I am. I have a friend who might want to talk to you. He's a B1 or used to be, and I think you need to hear what he has to say.
You talking about the B1 that arrived on the station with you?
Yeah.
Well aware. Designation realms of Prul.
What's his name?
Well, one of my agents already has him going where I want him. Is that all?
Look, I know you want to blow up the station. It won't get you what you want.
What will?
Blowing up the station. Blowing up the droid that constitutes the ship, I guess. That's your plan, isn't it? I mean, that's...
The droid's already dead. There's no way out for that one. If we reprogram it, use it to our aims, make a statement, people will think. They'll think about how dangerous it is.
So you don't care about freedom at all. It's just something you say.
Slave talking to me about what I care about.
And while your actions talk about what you care about. You blow someone up who doesn't agree with that. What does that make you?
Dangerous.
And how does that get you anywhere close to what you want? Gets you killed, that's all. People be afraid of you, and if biologicals are afraid of you, they won't listen. They won't take heed. They will just figure out a way to kill you.
I know you think you're in the right. But the only way we get freedom is when we fight for it.
Yeah, by blowing up a lot of people. It's not fighting for it. This is not a war that can be won on the battlefield. I realize it's very ironic of me to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is true. That is true nonetheless.
Well, when you want to offer solutions other than give up, let me know, clone.
Okay. How can I reach you?
And he transmits a little data feed for a particular comm code you can use to
Okay.
reach out to him.
Okay. Fine. Nice talking to you.
He is not polite. He just
No.
he cuts the
No, but
transmission.
I need to find this now.
Cool. All right. So Realm, Jerva, and Jocasta, you've evidently talked some Rhodians out of doing nefarious deeds. A silver protocol droid has been helped up by Realm, and yeah, I'm curious. Jerva, what do you want to do?
Realm, who's your friend here?
I don't know. And I look at her, are we friends?
You are a liar, and a very bad one.
Yeah, it is hard to pretend that I'm okay with this plan you told me about. Because it's a bad plan. Because it tries to win freedom and rights for us by forcing one of us to do a thing they do not choose to do.
If the pilot volunteered for this mission, would your opinion change?
I don't know. Because have you talked to them at all? Has anyone tried to ask the pilot?
We could. Mac 10 does not want us. Mac 14 does not want us to.
Why not? Is he afraid that they could say no? And what then for your plan?
It would minimize the success ratios. The droid is so new. They probably did not even put a personality template on it. It was probably a level 4.
How did you know? How do you know?
I do not.
Oh, I would say, let's talk to the pilot.
Forgive me. My name is Joe Costa. And yours is?
My designation is RA7. I call myself Arya.
Aria, how well do you know Mac 14? This is not a trap question.
I know him relatively well as I know any other droid.
He is extraordinarily passionate. And that's good for motivating. But it means that if he is making a mistake, he is putting a great many sentients at risk.
Only bioorganics. We already have an evacuation plan in place for all of the sectors of the station that are at risk.
I'm not even talking about the incident. I'm talking about identified droids that the New Republic would be obliged to hunt down and exterminate for their involvement in this. Does that sit well with you?
It is an acceptable parameter. I understand that I put a great deal at risk. I am troubled that the starfighter droid pilot does not have a choice in the matter.
That's indeed very troubling.
It is not an option that has been made available to me. B1,
Well then,
it is best if you take these other sentients away. They seem not to be hostile to us.
But I choose to fight with them. They are my people as well as anyone else who wants to be. If they don't want to go, I won't send them away. But if they want to go, but Jara, Jocasta, do you want to go away?
no.
Definitely
The-
not.
Both the Republic and the droids will suffer if this attack is carried out as it is. Nobody wins this kind of a war. It's just a question of which side loses first. And the New Republic has a great many more resources than the droids do. They're not going to lose.
And we have an opportunity here in this situation, an opportunity to move up the discussion between droids and other beings.
Furthermore,
And stepping away from this action will definitely improve your place at the table.
I'd like to see you roll
Oh.
Senate with that diplomat, Master Jerva. You're going to try to roll over your number.
And it's one die.
Well, that's a good point. We need to build one for trying. Do you feel like you were prepared for this?
I think yes.
And
It's
then,
always been.
do you think that you are an expert in this type of diplomacy?
No, not an expert.
Okay, so you're rolling 2d6.
Okay.
May I assist?
Yes. Helping. If you want to help someone else who's rolling, say how you try to help, and you'll make a roll. And then if you succeed, then you give them an extra die. So how is Jocasta helping?
She is helping by reading Arya and prompting Jerva, with leading questions.
Okay. I like that.
Isn't it true that that sort of thing, or have you considered whether this might be important?
And so let's have you roll a single die, and if you roll above, because that's helping
Nope.
through Senate. Oh, you rolled a 1?
I rolled a 1. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. You're just not getting as much of a read off of a droid as you would normally.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
So, Master Jarvi, you're rolling 2 dice.
2d6. Enter.
Looks like it's a
One I have
4
to roll
more.
over, right?
You do. So you get 1 die succeeds. You barely manage it. The GM inflicts a complication, harm, or cost. So I have, first of all, just step out of game to say, I've done a terrible job with pacing. We are near the end of time. And so I apologize. I've been so fascinated by these characters. I've just been drawn into just talking to you guys and did a bad job. But here's the 1 die success complication. You are able to convince Arya, RA7, that a different way is something worth trying. However, Arya communicates this back to Mac 14, and he ditches. Basically, realizes this mission is too many people know about it. You guys were obviously sent here to stop it, and you're too far along. So the complication is that he and a few of his forces just extract, and they will abandon the mission at this point. I would like to carve out just a minute or two to allow folks to do like an epilogue, because I'd love to see each of you, because it's a one shot. Although I love these characters and would love to see them in future Star Wars Saturdays, just let me know. We will work something out. But for the time that we have allotted for this game session, I'd like to go around and have everybody tell me a sentence or two about the epilogue of the character. Post mission, you were successful in your mission. I am curious about. We'll start with Quake. So Sabine, tell us what's the epilogue you see for Quake.
I think, this is a little bit later after we've returned to Avalon. And this is with the person who gave us the May Starfall.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, hey, okay, so we averted this, but the droid is still out there, still advocating for droid rights. The Empire might get to him, but you also might get to him if you offer him something that he might want. And I'm giving her the contact information that he gave me. So talk to him. Maybe there's a way out of this that actually gives the droids a bit more freedom, because, the Unchained would be thrilled, especially a droid president.
Nice. Cool. So let's check in with Brandon. What do you see as the epilogue for Jocasta?
I think that Jocasta is going to continue to take Jerva under her wing. She's going to and let her hair down a little bit around him.
Nice.
Share with him a little bit of her extremely complicated and difficult past, and express and then going forward, they're probably going to have a lot of discussions about Jedi and the light and dark side of the Force, because Jocasta is been burned so badly in that regard. But on the other hand, she wants him to grow up, as it were, in the Force, strengthened by his ties with the Master, but not hidebound to some of these ancient, old-fashioned views that haven't changed with the changing of the galaxy. And so she kind of takes that on as a little bit of a mission to the degree that circumstances allow.
And then, Travis, what about for Jerva? What do you see as the epilogue for Jerva?
For Jerva, I picture coming up from black, but hearing a buzzing noise in the black on the screen, and then the light coming up and seeing Jerva laying backwards on a table with a little light on his face, and a retrofitted medical droid with a tattoo gun, but Jerva's reaching out to two sides and holding Jacosta's hand, and even Realm's hand at that point while he's getting his new next tattoo on his face.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. And then what about Cinder, what about for Realms of Rule?
Yeah, Realms stays in contact with Arya and meets other droids through her and they both try to find droids who are ready to fight for their rights, but not through the sacrifices of others. And the other aim Realm has is to find Force-sensitive droids. Because they learned that they are not Force-sensitive, but they know a lot about the Force. They have a lot training, and maybe one day they will present droids, 1 or 2, to Java to train, because they are really strong in the Force.
That's amazing. Oh, that is so cool. I love that. Yeah, so we went a few minutes over. I normally carve some time for post game stuff, but it's a one shot, so I think we can just let it go. With that was a really fun game. I love these characters. I wish I had pushed more fights on you, but I was having so much fun listening to you all talk in character and debate this. So I hope it was all right. With that, I'll go ahead and bring the recording to a close. Thank you all for playing.